Welcome back to Dad's Gone Crypto. I'm Crypto Dad Sean, joined by the ever-wise, slightly old-school Crypto Dad Ryan.
Hey, old school is where the wisdom lives, my friend.
Fair enough. But today we're diving into the epic debate, Bitcoin versus gold. So stay tuned, don't click that dial. Which is better store of value? And is Bitcoin this digital hype? Or is gold this outdated relic from the pre-internet era?
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's hype versus relic so much, Sean. It's legacy versus leapfrogging. So let's
Yeah.
see, which one holds up best here in the long term. But why don't we give it a little historical context and talk about gold here for a minute, because gold has been money for more than 5,000 years. From the pharaohs of Egypt to the vaults of Fort Knox, it's been universally trusted and globally accepted. Wars have been fought over it, entire economies were based on it. And even when the gold standard was abandoned, central banks didn't walk away. They hoarded more. Why, you ask? Because when all else fails, the fiat currencies, the banks, the governments, gold doesn't fail. During the 2008, crisis, during COVID, even all geopolitical tensions that have happened over the years, investors have always run to gold for protection. It's the world's ultimate panic button.
Absolutely. Gold has history, but Bitcoin was born from history's biggest financial failure in 2008. The whole idea behind Bitcoin was that what if money didn't rely on banks or governments that could potentially fail? Satoshi's white paper came out during the collapse, offering a new solution, peer to peer, borderless, and trustless digital money. In Venezuela, where hyperinflation made their currency worthless, Bitcoin wasn't theory, it was survival. The same in Ukraine and Argentina. Gold cannot cross borders in your pocket. Well, not the amount you need to make life changing decisions, but Bitcoin can live in your head or your pocket.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But why don't we talk about, scarcity and maybe the supply mechanics of these two? So, I mean, gold scarcity is rooted in nature, right? It's dug from the earth, it's refined through effort. Roughly 3,000 tons or so mined every year. You can't just print more. It's limited by geology, not people. And over time, that's created incredible stability. We've never had runaway gold inflation. Its value holds because the supply grows slowly and predictably. It's a scarcity that you can see and touch.
Okay, fair enough. But Bitcoin scarcity is mathematically perfect. Only 21 million will ever exist. That's not an estimate, it's coded. There's no central banks deciding to dig more out. And thanks to the halving every 4 years, new supply slows down dramatically over time. You don't have to ever wonder if someone will strike a new gold mine tomorrow and flood the market with gold. Bitcoin supply is known, transparent, and trusted. That creates a strong form of digital scarcity.
True, but gold isn't dependent on software or electricity. Its scarcity doesn't rely on code, integrity, or consensus.
But the code is consensus, and it's run by the most powerful computer network on Earth. Bitcoin is digital scarcity enforced by cryptography, not geology.
Yeah, that's very true. And then, then we could talk about practical use as well. I mean, gold is real. You can hold it, you can touch it, and you can even bite it. Though I don't think I'd recommend that. there's,
Unless you're
there's a,
winning the Olympic gold medal. Arr.
yeah, exactly. Or you're an old prospector somewhere, right?
It's true.
Making sure it's real. there's a, there's a psychological comfort in that tangibility. And globally, gold is just understood. You can walk into a rural market in India and they'll value gold. You don't need internet access. You don't need seed phrases, hardware wallets. And now with tokenized gold or ETFs, even the digital divide is closing.
Here's where Bitcoin shines. Imagine a war or flood. You're not carrying those gold bars in your backpack. You might lose your home, but you can basically take your wealth with you in your brain, the Bitcoin wealth. Just memorize 12 words, your seed phrase, and you can access your Bitcoin anywhere in the world. Let's repeat that. You can access your wealth anywhere in the world just by remembering those seed phrases. And the division, well, you can send $0.01 in Bitcoin across the globe in minutes. Try doing that with gold, with massive fees and custom declarations. Bitcoin is 24/7 money for a 24/7 world.
Absolutely. I can't imagine my pants kind of falling down as I'm trying to shove gold bars in my pockets.
As you're going through the metal detector, ding, ding,
Right.
nothing to see here.
Well, all right. Why don't we talk about the price stability and high
Mhm.
growth potential of both of these assets?
Mm.
So gold is boring. That is 100% true. But honestly, that's the point, right? It doesn't shoot to the moon, but it doesn't crash to the ground either. During massive market panics, gold stabilizes portfolios. It doesn't rely on hype or influencers. Since the 1970s, gold's been returning about 7 to 9% every year. Well, I guess that's more of an average annually, but that stability that retirees and pension funds appreciate. It's kind of the adult in the room, we could say.
The adult in the room. Gold is slow and steady, but Bitcoin's growth is exponential. Yes, it's volatile, but volatility reflects value discovery. In its short life, Bitcoin has gone from zero to $100,000 plus. If you wanted safety, buy gold. If you want freedom and upside, you buy Bitcoin. And as adoption grows, volatility shrinks, just like the early days of Amazon stock. Today it's wild. In 10 years, Bitcoin might be boring, but by then it would have done a 10x again.
Yeah, true. But high returns come with high risk. Bitcoin
Yeah.
has had multiple 80% crashes in its lifetime, at least. And, there's a lot of people out there that would have a hard time trusting their savings to something that's that volatile.
And yet it always rebounds stronger. Just like the internet survived the dot-com crash, Bitcoin thrives after each shakeout. That's resilience, not fragility.
All right, so that's all good and fine, but why don't we talk about, institutional trust and just plain old global acceptance, right? I mean, gold is institutionalized. It's on central bank balance sheets, IMF reserves, sovereign wealth funds. It's not a question of adoption. It's been adopted for thousands of years.
Mm.
In 2022, central banks bought over 1,100 tons of gold. Why? Because when things get uncertain, they default to gold. It's accepted by nations, banks, and grandmas alike.
True, but the tide is turning. BlackRock didn't launch a Bitcoin ETF for fun. They saw the writing on the wall. MicroStrategy holds billions in Bitcoin. El Salvador made it legal tender. Institutions like JP Morgan, Fidelity are now playing the crypto game. And the younger generations, they don't trust central banks. They trust code. Bitcoin is digital gold for the digital world.
Absolutely. But here's another point. How about security, verification, counterfeits? Gold is tested, weighed, and verified. No one needs a password to access it. No chance of forgetting your seed phrase and losing all your wealth. You can drop gold, but it doesn't get hacked. Plus, gold is physical. There's a deep sense of ownership in that physicality of it, right?
Yeah. There's lots of deep rooted sense that if I can't touch it, it does not exist. But gold can be faked. Remember that tungsten filled bars that made it into the Chinese banks? Uh, with Bitcoin, every transaction is public and verified on the blockchain. It's tamper proof. There's no need to trust anyone. You just verified with math. It's the most secure monetary network in history, backed by energy, consensus, and transparency.
Yep, for sure. Now that brings us to another point, which would be environmental impact and regulation in general. So gold mining has had environmental issues for sure. There's no doubt about that. But it also powers medical devices, aerospace, electronics. It's not just a store of value, it's a useful metal. And modern regulations are forcing gold miners to go greener and keep the pollution to a minimum.
And Bitcoin mining is actively driving green energy adoption. In places like Texas, hydro plants and wind farms use Bitcoin to monetize the excess energy. It's incentivizing renewable infrastructure. And Bitcoin's impact is measurable. Every transaction, every energy stat, it's all public. Gold mining footprint is harder to track. Bitcoin is pushing energy transparency into finance.
Yeah, that's true too. Well, to wrap things up a little bit, gold has weathered empires rising and falling. It doesn't glitch, it doesn't rely on the internet. In an age of cyber attacks and digital overload, a rock solid asset that doesn't need charging, now that's peace of mind.
And Bitcoin is the refinement of everything gold represents: scarcity, value, trust, but in the digital generation. It moves at the speed of the internet, not the speed of a horse drawn cart. It's borderless, incorruptible, and unstoppable.
Well, you know what? We've both made some decent arguments here, so maybe we don't need to choose. Gold is legacy, Bitcoin is innovation. They serve different roles, but they both protect wealth in uncertain times.
Fully agree with you, Ryan. But only one of them can be sent at midnight on a Sunday to someone halfway across the world in just under 10 minutes.
I definitely agree there.
So, everybody, what is your store of value? Shiny bars or digital blocks? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and help us grow the channel to that 100,000 plus. We're almost there, guys. Help us get there. Share it with a friend. And thank you for watching today.
And remember, whether you're stacking sats or stacking bars, the goal is the same. Protect your future. Thanks for tuning in to Dad's Gone Crypto. See you guys.
Ciao.
The material and information presented in this recording are for entertainment purposes only. Do not misconstrue what you hear as investment or trading advice. Always do your own research. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by the guests on this recording are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Dad's Gone Crypto or its hosts.